What's going on, Cowboys faithful? It's your boy DMV back with another one. And I was just sitting thinking. I was in the car earlier, and I was just like, you know what? The Cowboys draft is coming up. The one thing that we want to be able to do, and I told you guys I'm going to be your run game consultant. So before you do anything else, man, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And at the end of this, comment on what you're thinking as far as this goes. But I had to ask myself the question because we have so many holes now. Even with Mozzie Smith being out 4 to 6 months with an injury, we have so many holes, and everybody just assumes that the tackle position is just the very most important because it's the sexy position of up front. See, on the defensive line, it's the edge, and that's a premium position. Your tackle is a premium position, but nobody ever really thinks how important the center position is. So for me, I had to weigh what's more important, center or tackle. The reason that I choose center is for a couple reasons. The Dallas Cowboys are really, really good at drafting tackles and developing tackles. They're good at it. Um, Now, have we been as good at developing mid-round tackles? No, not as much. Not as much. Um, have we been as good at developing? And then I can ask the question: have we been as good at developing mid-round centers? Based on a little bit of data that I have with Travis Frederick, no, we haven't. But if I go back and look at the most success that this team has had in the run game, it was when we had Travis Frederick. We've moved around a lot of pieces during that time. We had Lyle Collins at guard. Tyron Smith would miss 3 games a year or something like that, and some of the times we didn't miss Tyron. I remember back in 2016, we didn't miss him for those 3 games that we didn't have him. But and then if you look at this year, I think we missed him, but I think with what Tyler Smith showed you the year before, you can kind of get by with Tyron not being on this team. But what we have not been able to consistently do since we had a center here and Travis Frederick, and I understand Travis Frederick was on his way to being probably a Hall of Famer. He was an All Pro center like damn near every year. That's what I think is most important with this offense, an anchor. Your offensive line needs an anchor, and that brings me to my other point about center being more important here because you need somebody that's going to be the captain of your offensive line, one that you trust, one that not only can get a push up front, but one that can get everybody on the same accord, somebody that you trust. Could that be Hoffman? Possibly. It could be Hoffman. It could be. But if you have an opportunity of taking the very best center or taking maybe the fourth best tackle, fifth best tackle, I think you have a dilemma there. And in my mind, I think you take the center. I think if it's JPJ, or if you trade back, or if you're in the second round and you don't get a tackle first and you're looking at Zach Frazier or maybe the sixth best tackle, I think you got to go Zach Frazier because those are the type of guys that from day one can add that cerebral feel to your offensive line. And again, I've brought this up before that they're the first person who touches the ball. They're the first person, for the most part. Some tackles have figured out a loophole, but they're the ones who get the initial first punch. And if this Cowboys team is going to be able to change things around, they're going to have to do it from the interior because that's where this team has struggled at running the football. Last year, the right side wasn't as good. I know that the left side was good, especially on the outside. But the Cowboys have to figure out how to be able to adjust on the fly of games in the middle of this offensive line. It comes with being able to change the type of things that you can do. So it's like DMV, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's sexy to have this left tackle. You go against the best pass rushers. We have to be able to stop the best pass rushers. And I get that. And I'm not saying that we can't do that with what we have already, because if you kick Tyler out, you're still in a good position. But when I called plays, the times that I've called plays throughout my career, and I've been a play caller for about 5 to 6 years at the high school level. So I know it's the high school level, but being that it's the high school level, the youth level, I can tell you the importance of the position. I've had all world left tackles, but then I've had a average to below average center, and that limits the things that you can do up front. When your center is not your leader of the offensive line and their ability is limited, a lot of the gap scheme things you can do, it goes away, especially if they can't get the punch. So I was lucky to have a really good center on my team this year. And often when I'm building my lines, I like my very best interior offensive lineman that can move, that is the thinker. I like that to be my center. And then I can have my athletic guards outside of that. And then I can, depending on the tackles, obviously you're going to get very good. You can get basketball players and stuff to play tackle. And you just show them how to get in the way. You show them how to use their athleticism. But when you got that guy that's your captain of the offensive line and they're an extension of you as a play caller, it makes all of the difference in the world. But if you have a tackle that's an extension of you, it's still not as cerebral. So for me, guys, I'm if all else is equal, not even all else is equal, but if it comes down to do I take the center or do I take the tackle, based on my own experience, I'm going to go with the center, especially with what the Cowboys need now. And I just think about it. A couple of years ago, I was upset at the Tyler Smith pick because I wanted Linderbaum. I wanted Linderbaum. You get what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm upset with the Tyler Smith pick, because I've grown to love it, but we're in the same position now where there's a hole at center, possibly, and then we don't know who is the left tackle. So now we got two holes where if you had Linderbaum, we're probably just looking at replacing the tackle, because that's a center that you get for 10 years. So I've often heard Boss Cowboys say, you get a good tackle, you got him for 10 years. I don't know why the same doesn't apply to center. Center could be the very same thing. If you get one of the very, very best, like Lane Johnson, look at that. And Philadelphia is going to be hurting without the captain of their offensive line, because Lane Johnson was probably their most valuable player. And a lot of the time, when you have a really good center, they are your most valuable player. But I appreciate y'all for stopping by, man. Leave your comments in the comment section. Love y'all. We out. Peace.